can't bring the pillows off my couch. They're in the other room. But it's pretty much just a Kirby and then my mom's signature. So it's kind of neat. All right, and welcome to episode 163 of the Zenspath Entertainment Network Podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Powers, and joining me this week, we have Steven.
Hi.
Rachel.
Hi there.
And Chase.
Hello.
Chris is not with us because technology hates him, and I don't know why.
He's got a ghost in his computer, and it's not me.
Something, I don't know if like Zencastr has a personal vendetta with him, but like it just continuously does not work.
It's
and
just,
I don't know why.
It's just giving him the big old middle finger for whatever reason.
So, like, we don't have enough FaceTime data, so you're kicked out.
Yeah, it sucks. I like him being on the show, but well, we'll get him back on her eventually.
Eventually.
Just as a heads up, though, we probably will not have a show next week because I have a photography presentation that's popping up that actually is the first time I've entered in my own photography. So it's supposed to be shown and we'll see what happens.
Yay.
Someone just, ironically, it is bird related.
For you.
It is bird related. So the chocobo kind of fits. All right. So let's jump into what we've been doing before we go diving into what I've already talking about, what we're going to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll do past tense, not future tense. Steven, why don't you start us off? What you been doing?
Oh. Okay, well, I've been playing... No, I haven't, actually. I've been playing ZZZ. The other one, I already got the costume for the last 3 weeks, so I don't have to play it. I unfortunately did not get to 4 in February. I got to 2, because I did not finish Resident Evil 4 Remake. I'm at, like, the third chunk of it now.
I got 3, technically.
That's good.
I would have, but I played Balatro and it killed everything else.
Yesterday, I set up a thing with coworkers, and I'm proud of myself for being able to organize it because it was basically 3 TVs, Mario Kart 8 on all of them, 12 players, and depending on where they were sitting, I had to give them a controller, explain the controls and everything. So it worked out really well. I do have an update on my previous complaint I had on our Discord with Limited Run. They apparently said the box was too big for when they first sent me my Persona 3 portable SEES edition, SEES.
It looked like a healthy size collector's edition.
So they said, hey, we gave you a separate tracking number. And I was just like, okay, that's where the problem was, because your tracking number just showed me an old order that said it was delivered like months ago. And even my orders never had the new tracking. So I said, next time, please update my orders, not just my emails. So
right.
With that comes the gaming pickups. So I did.
But you did get it, though.
I did get my SPC Chaos, but I got the collector's edition, so it comes in a Neo Geo case.
Interesting.
Nice.
They only make 1,000 of those, so I think they're neat. The Persona 3 came with some nice like a lithograph here.
Ooh, I like that. It looks kind of 3D.
I'm honestly surprised Junior did not order this.
And then this guy. I'm going to bring it over.
Please note, people watching the video and YouTube things, this is not a real firearm.
Hold on. Technical difficulties.
Ooh.
Lights up.
They can't get in trouble because it's only half of a gun anyway.
That's okay.
Is it a light gun at this point?
It's only half of an evoker.
Oh, I'd modify that sucker into like a zapper or something.
Pew pew.
Play duck hunt with
size box, so
that is a healthy size box.
So that's why it took so long, but it was very nicely put together. So I was like, I'm patient with you guys. Other than your NES cartridges hurting systems, I'm okay with everything. I'm okay with waiting on those things. Other than that, it has been Steam Next Fest will end after this weekend.
I've got my pen and paper ready.
I got to edit the show, so I'll just go back and pull them up when I'm listening to it.
So I've gone through a bunch. I've gone through either my algorithm. I've gone through different articles just to see what they say. So we had some obvious ones like Gal Guardians 2 is coming. So if you like 2-player Metroidvanias, like a co-op Metroidvania, it's the only ones that exist. Gal Guardians 1 and 2. This is the second one. If you
Local
want
or online?
If you want something weird, these are all PC, but some are coming to consoles.
Yeah.
Another one that's a bit weird, which I like the idea because the guy's name is Steve, is there's a game called Tavern Quest. Basically, you're the guy running a text adventure, but the guy playing it, Steve, he's an asshole. So every time he gets to a new place in his text adventure, he wants to do weird stuff like, "Hey, you're in a bar," and he'll be like, "Kill barkeep," and you have to like think of something to keep him on the quest without him ruining the adventure.
And it's yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It's a very like it's called Run Tavern Quest. That's
Yeah,
cool.
So
Oh,
basically,
the old DOS command.
you're trying to run the text adventure, and Steve's trying to ruin it.
Okay.
Other than that, we have Skin Deep, which is kind of like a first-person shooter meets the realism of Die Hard. So think of a stealth first-person shooter, but it's possible that you can sneeze. You don't have anything on your feet, so you have to be careful what you walk across because it can make noise, or you can hurt
Interesting.
yourself. So you're trying to get through like basically like an evil corporation building without being caught, but it's
Die
not
Hard.
just being seen that's bad enough; it's everything else. Anybody who enjoyed Yes Your Grace, which was like a nice kind of like Game of Thrones simulator but done in a pixel style, they're making a second one. This one's Yes Your Grace Snowfall, so it's like a continuation. There's City of Rampage for people who want Comic Zone and Streets of Rage to have a baby. So it's a nice beat 'em up. I'm going to be trying that out as well. On the point and click side, we've got a bunch. We've got Brass Heart, which is more a medieval point and click.
Mm-hmm.
We got Elroy and the Aliens that reminded me more of like Day of the Tentacle in terms of its like cartoonish style.
Oh, nice.
The third game in the series is Kathy Rain 2. I know it doesn't make sense to me, but there was apparently a Kathy Rain director's cut. There's Vanova's Stories, which is a murder mystery.
The Novas, Nova,
Vanova's, Vanova's story.
VAN. Oh, okay.
OVA stories. Vanova. And on the multiplayer side, there's two. There's one I'm interested in trying out, and it's called Jumping Jazz Cats. You all play as cats doing various mini games. So think of a game called Kiwi, but put a bunch of cats in a room together.
And what is this called again?
This one's called Jumping Jazz Cats, and
Jumping
you can
Jazz
be
Cats.
every kind of cat you can imagine, like a thin cat, a fat cat, like every breed. So you can make your own cats, basically. The ones you own.
That sounds very entertaining.
And lastly, which I'm really excited to come out because it starts early access and such on the day after my birthday, is a game called Midnight Murder Club. And it's the guys who made Knockout City. So yes, it's gone now, Knockout City. But basically, it's a first-person shooter party game that puts everybody in a dark, deadly mansion, and all you have is a flashlight and a pistol, and you have to try to stay alive until dawn. And the unique part of this game is if one person buys it for $20, you can invite 5 friends for free who don't have to buy the game to play with you. And there's no limits on how much they can play of the game. So you just pick 5 friends that you're like, you're going to be part of my Midnight Murder Club, and then that's it. They're all in there for free.
So I'll just have to buy this and send you guys all a link, I guess.
I don't know if it's cross-platform, but it's coming out for PS5 and PC starting on the 13th. So I'm excited because I was just like, it's not something where we have to shoot each other. It's just we have to stay alive too.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm excited. I have a busy weekend, and I'm going to be seeing The Monkey tomorrow.
Nice. All right. Next up, Chase. What you been doing?
Just continuing the grind with Dynasty Warriors Origins. I've gotten to chapter. I think I'm towards the end of chapter 4 now, so
Nice.
I'm still got quite a ways to go in the game, though. Just judging by where I'm at in the timeline, based on other games that I've played. So yeah, I'm just grinding it out.
Still
Slowly
holding
but
up though
surely.
compared to your other ones.
Yeah, no, it's fun. Like I'm
Nice.
definitely gonna give it another playthrough. Like I'll probably play through and make like the other choices just to see how things go.
Right.
But yeah, no, it's definitely holding up. There's a lot of things that I hope that they take from this game and put in the other mainline games. Actually.
Nice. All right. Rachel, what about you? What you been doing?
Well, Well, other than work, which is taking up most of my time, though I can't really talk about it, obviously. I've been watching a lot of like older TV shows. That I discovered on like rediscovered on one of the streaming services I have, as well as like watching stuff that I just have on DVD. So I'm really liking consuming the older content because it's just different. It like compared to what is coming out now, I'll watch this, I'll be like, wow, TV was really different like 10 years ago. Even like longer than that too. Like, and then even just 5 years ago, markedly different TV shows were. But it started with the Dinotopia movie. Have you guys ever watched that? The Hallmark Dinotopia movie?
You lost me at
No.
Hallmark.
Okay. All right. So, and this is the kind of bizarre for Hallmark to put out this, by the way. But it's got Dave Thewlis in it, you know. Pretty famous guy, and he's well, honestly, and it's got crap. What is his name? Did you guys ever watch the show Numbers?
No, I don't think. Well, actually, I think I'm aware of it, but I'm not sure of the cast.
Okay, so the dad in the show Numbers plays like the mayor of the main town in Dinotopia, and there's quite a few other really well-known actors that like pop up in this. But I guess the movie did so good that they did another series of like little mini movies, like TV movies, almost like a TV series, but they were longer. They were it's hard to explain. There was like 6 of them that followed the original Dinotopia movie. And I've watched, I think, including the original one, I've watched the first 2. No, just 1. So I've watched a grand total of 2 of them so far. And I'm finding them very enjoyable because it's just so is bizarre because it's like early 2000s, late 90s kind of like CG because all the dinosaurs are CGI and it really shows its age, but also it still feels very fantastical.
So I'm curious. It's called Dinotopia, right?
Dinotopia, yes, and it was a book series.
Is it tied to this game, the original Xbox?
Probably.
Called Dinotopia: The Sunstone Odyssey that I've yet to still play.
Probably. I don't know. I don't have a context for it. I don't have a context for that. But the most recent Dinotopia film is animated, and I don't know when that one came out.
This was 2003.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're not like recent films. I was not kidding when I told you I was going back and really watching stuff.
Oh, I know. I knew it wasn't new because, like I said, this was original Xbox, so it's back there.
And then, like the stuff that I have that's like on physical disc that I've been watching is Dexter and Angel, which I'm enjoying those. And then I recently added because I had forgot about it until recently, and when somebody we were at work was like, what was the show that was in it had aliens, but it was in St. Louis, and I was like, and I'm sitting here saying, I'm like, St. Louis, and I'm like, and they said, yeah, it had like the archway, but it wasn't actually St. Louis, but it was, and the real St. Louis was underground, and I was like, oh, Defiance. And y'all might remember Defiance from the game that was part of the TV show.
Didn't play that either.
No. And you
a lot
can't,
of people didn't.
You can't, which is a shame because apparently it was a really good game. And you can't even play it now because it was all online. So unless somebody has like made their own server and
I think I bought the collector's edition of that one for like $5, and then I sold the game immediately before it got shut off.
Yeah.
So I did look it up. That is attached to it. Dinotopia for Xbox. There was apparently 4 games for PC, Mac, Game Boy Advance, and then the GameCube and Xbox.
Interesting. I'll have to look that up. That's fascinating. And then as one does when you start watching shows that have aliens in it, you remember one of the best shows ever, Farscape.
I love Farscape.
Farscape's so good. For those of you who are listening who haven't watched Farscape is a really good sci-fi show. And a lot of the a lot of the various like makeup stuff and puppetry, like with the pilot and with Rigel. He's one of the characters on there.
Yep.
That was actually done by the Jim Henson Creature Company.
Yeah, it's one of the good proper ways to use that company for something.
Yes. So if those of you who are listening who are interested in watching that, definitely do it. It's a good time. There's several
thinking of that show called Falling Skies with Noah Wiley.
Hey, that's another good one.
I need to watch that one.
I can tell you where it is available to watch.
Nice.
Yes.
We'll have to do that later.
Yes. I recently also discovered that one all three of those shows are on the same streaming service.
Nice.
So, but and then today I was at the Bay Area Renaissance Festival in Dade City. So that was fun. I had a good time there. I got a really pretty parasol that I'm going to use tomorrow at another event that I'm going to. I got a parasol little strap holder thing that hooks to your belt, so then you don't have to carry it like around. It just like hangs there next to you, which is nice. And it's the only criticism I have of the fair is the same criticism I have had the last time I went, which is goddamn it dusty, very dusty, dirt everywhere. Now, mind you, I'm used to it, it's outdoors, so of course there's going to be dirt, but this is in like a farmland field, and then there's like a landfill like less than a mile away, so, and it's also just off of a dirt road, so there is dust and dirt everywhere in the air. Like, ugh, I'm still like getting it off me. But that was my only criticism. I had a really good time with friends today. I had some excellent lunch. It was delicious. And just saw some good performers, saw some cool booths, got some homemade salsa on one of the booths. Just a good time. And then, of course, last but not least, I am streaming Kingdom Hearts on my Twitch channel now. So that's been fun. Haven't encountered any problems really with streaming it. It just mutes parts of your VOD if it triggers that. It's just like, oh, okay, this might be something. So we're just going to mute this part. And that's all it does. So no issues as of yet. And plenty of other people have been streaming it with zero problems. So I don't see the harm in it. So.
Cool.
Yep.
All right. So I guess I'll jump into what I've been doing. Picked up Monster Hunter Wilds yesterday, and I've been playing that last night and for a couple hours today. I'm really enjoying it. Capcom has made some very weird graphics choices with this one. I guess they're trying to over texture like some of the caves and so forth. They don't look like it's made of rocks. It's almost like they've just kind of smeared the textures over everything and they stretch and blend together. It's very weird, but it gets better in the forest area. I made it to that. I've been fighting mostly older or newer creatures that they've had, including a spider that's also mixed with a rose that is really creepy, but really it's kind of a fun fight.
It broke some records. It got 1.3 million people on Steam at the same time in 9 hours.
Thankfully, it is cross-play, but not cross-save. So I have it on Xbox. I can play with other people, but I can't move my save anywhere. Which
I heard PC's rough, especially if you didn't run the benchmark first.
Yeah, even if you did run the benchmark, PC has been very weirdly optimized, if at all, which is causing a lot of problems. It's running pretty well on the Series X. I'm running it in resolution mode and locked at 30 because it's fairly consistent. And I mean, I've been playing Monster Hunter since the PSP, so I'm just like, well, it feels right. I don't need this running perfectly 60. It would be nice, but it's not going to happen right now. But I haven't had any problems. I got my hammer because I have to have my hammer. That's always my weapon of choice. And I'm liking that. Some people I heard complaints it's almost a little bit too easy for people that have played a lot. And it kind of is. But I'm sure it'll ramp up as I get further in. So I'm looking forward to I got to get with the Pfeiffer brothers.
Giving you breadcrumbs to the Lion's Den.
Hopefully. I'm going to get together with the Pfeiffer brothers and play with them at some point because we've been playing Monster Hunter for a long time now. So it'll be nice to get back into that. Other than that, I've been playing Avowed still. and I have really been enjoying it. I don't get some people's complaints with this. The writing and everything from the developers from Obsidian has been hilarious. I've got 2 companions with me now as we're going along, and they just continuously rip into each other. They're not even repeating themselves. They're like insulting each other or saying stupid stuff as they go along, and it's just funny to hear. Combat's gotten a lot better once I actually kind of figured out how it works. It pretty much, like, the comparison people give with Skyrim is just the fact that, okay, it's a fantasy land and it has a first person or third person option. That's pretty much where a lot of it ends. You've got really good, funny, different type of writing and stories. The combat is way faster and more fluid for being able to switch between the different types, where I surprisingly use the flintlock pistol a lot. I really like how that thing handles, especially with the spiders. I'll just shoot those damn things and kill them fairly quick. Switch to magic and then either try and electrocute them, which jumps around, or burn them if I can, things like that. There's a lot of verticality to the puzzles. So you'll find a building and, a door may be locked or jammed shut that has been abandoned, and you can find a way to the roof maybe to break in or some other way. Like I said, the mechanics are really nice. This is one I could see myself playing more than once, because what style you're playing or what class you choose and how you do it does, just like other Obsidian games, affects how the conversations go. I get, different options for different ones, but now it shows me ones that are blacked out. Like if I don't have enough intelligence in something or speechcraft or whatever, they're like, okay, well, here's something you could say if you had that, but you can't. So just like you were talking about, Chase, I want to go back with the different stuff and like, hey, what happens if I do this now? Or, I'm going to have at least one playthrough where I am just an absolute a-hole to everyone just to see what happens. I'm being nice and everyone's like, okay, the type of people you are, it's shocking you're nice to everybody and doing stuff. And I was like, well, fine. My next time I'm just going to be a dick. So like I said, I know it's not for everybody, but I'm really liking it. And the game looks amazing to me. Really good use of color. I'm still loving exploration and a lot of the environments, going into caves and stuff. Someone was trying to say like the world feels small. Not when you have to run across it it doesn't. So it's pretty good size. Like it's well packed with stuff too. So give it a shot. Thankfully since it's digital only right now, I bought it on Xbox, but it also works on PC. So I loaded it on my Legion Go, and it runs fairly well on there, even with ray tracing, because it does do a lot of ray tracing reflections and stuff. So I can play it on the go now as well. I've done a couple missions and enjoyed that. The other thing that's taken up all of my time is I'm still playing Balatro. I am still working on trying to unlock everything, and I've made it through a good number of the decks and a couple of the different levels, like the chip colors. I think I'm on the green one now, trying to unlock that for the next deck. And I've got a little over half of the entire collection filled out. I think I just got all of the blinds done. I'm still working on the Jokers. I got like 20 more of those to go. But that game is taking up all the time on my Switch. But what I find weird, like, because you're playing it as well, aren't you, Steven?
Yeah, now Chase has the danger of it's free on Game Pass right now. So be careful.
What are you playing it on? Are you playing it on Switch or?
I play it on Switch, so I can take it with me if I really need to, but otherwise, yeah.
Have you noticed, like, even when it's asleep, it eats up battery? Like, it goes through power on my Switch faster than a lot of games. I pick it up and it's like 30%, and either I have completely lost track of time, or
that's probably it, because I've tried to make my like last hour before I need to get to bed for work. I'm like, yeah, I'll play some Balatro. I'm like, why is it 12:30? An hour and a half gone by, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I've been playing it while I'm like trying to relax for bed, and it's not helping me sleep any faster.
Because I have to make sure I don't get the Tetris thing where if you play Tetris for too long, you dream of Tetris. And
I've done that already. Yeah.
That's how I know I've played too much. Is when you're doing the blocks in your mind when you're sleeping. I'm like, okay, no, I'm done with Tetris.
I'm getting increasingly more disturbed as I learn about this Tetris dreaming thing, and now I don't want to ever play Tetris again because I don't want to dream of Tetris.
You can play it, just don't play it for like all day. Like play a couple games with your friends or something. But if you play it by yourself and you're just like, I need to get everything or something. Like I know when I eventually play Tetris forever, it's gonna. My dreams are going to be.
Well, now I just have the Tetris opera song stuck in my head. So,
Corbeinki?
Oh Lord,
maybe.
Beyond that, recently one of my coworkers gave me a bunch of his old retro collection, and I was finally getting around to kind of cleaning and messing around with some of the consoles, and found out the Super Nintendo he gave me is a rare one chip variant. Which, if you're not familiar with that, the one chip is a later revision of the Super Nintendo that instead of having the separate CPU and PPU, which is a picture processing unit, they actually combine them into one, and it gives you like some of the best video quality coming out from the system. It's not as fuzzy. It's nice and crisp for the pixels and stuff.
So it's a Model 2 or a Model 1?
It's a 1. It's a one chip 01 revision. There was 3 revisions they made of it, and I guess the 03 is supposed to be the sharpest, but at that
old
point,
style Super Nintendo, not the rounded out one.
No, it's the old school style, yes.
Okay.
Which also is the after they got rid of the fire retardant for the plastic shell, so it's not yellowed, which is nice.
I know there's that whole thing you look at Genesis now, especially the Genesis 3 has ones that have better audio and bad audio, so it's like okay.
Genesis 3s, they're just rough to begin with. I would recommend.
I'm sorry, not Genesis 3. Genesis 2s. All Genesis 3s are garbage, but
yeah, all Genesis 1s and all Genesis 2s have different audio chips, which is why like the Genesis Minis that they did usually let you pick between which system it's emulating, so you get the sound from them. If it's the FM synthesis or the other kind, I can't remember what they had. The Genesis was a fun thing to learn about. And then lastly, my Extron Crosspoint came in, and I have been wiring that and using it, and it's working exactly as I hoped it would, which is great. I had to make my own audio adapters, which was RCA to Phoenix contacts, and I was going to have to order the parts, and ended up taking an old RCA splitter, like one of those RCA, like you could press it and select which one you're using, what system selector. Took it apart, desoldered the connections, and then made new connections out of those RCA pins for left and right audio. And it works flawlessly. So great. That saved me some money. Just a little bit of work I had to do.
He's an engineer.
Yeah. So now I can, I put a video on the Discord as well, but I can run video to the CRT, then to the 4K TV through the RetroTink 4K, and to my computer with the capture card all at the same time without any issues, which means technically I can record and stream light gun games now. I'll just have to move the camera somewhere that I can be seen and just be playing off the CRT. So expect a little bit of weird stuff with like a super scope and maybe some Time Crisis and Duck Hunt. All right. Well, that pretty much wraps up what I've been up to for the moment. So we'll jump over to the group chat. I'm disappointed, Steven. I was giving you a second. Usually I always say something.
Let's drink these. Sorry.
Yeah, there you go. Jesus, man. Come on.
It was loading with some lag.
You were so consistent with it during when we recorded that I was like, I've come to expect it. I should just redo the recording where you just said it and just include it in there. Anyways, so Steven and Chase, you guys had on here that you were playing some Sniper Elite Resistance. So why don't y'all talk about that?
And it was driving us crazy because at one point everybody was dead and we were just looking for collectibles. And I don't know where they put these collectibles, but we went through the whole map like twice.
It's a secret.
And I was like, how dare they tell us that there's 19 collectibles and we're missing 2? Oh.
It's the secret.
Did you find them all?
At least they only hide the special guns and attachments behind finding all the benches, which are big enough that you will find them. And having to kill each general a very specific way.
Really?
So,
Like do they give you a particular way you're supposed to do it, or?
yeah. What was the last board we did? Was it the dam? Everything's blending together.
You're muted, Chase.
Oh no.
We did 2 of them. So we did the dam, and then we did the secret base at night.
Because the dam was a little weird because you had to make him fall off a platform, and it looked like some moron made a little platform that he decided to always stand on and look through his like orders. So you just had to shoot the supports, and he fell to his death like GoldenEye style.
Oh, that's great.
And I was just like, all right. But that was one of them. What was the other one we had to do?
You had to kill him with an LMG. You had to kill him with a...
That was easy enough. I was just like, go get him, Tiger.
Wow.
Yeah, the game is brutal with the collectibles. Tells you to find... says you're missing 2, and we're just like, we ain't found shit.
And they can look like letters, they can look like papers, and papers are everywhere because it's like war rooms and stuff. And sometimes it's something you can take, sometimes it's not. So
do they at least like shimmer? Do they have any kind of visual difference?
When you finally get close to them, they shimmer.
Yeah.
But
oh God!
Otherwise, they're not on the map. You just have to find it.
Yep.
Benches aren't on the map until you find them, like stuff like that. So.
Ouch. That's one thing I like about Avowed is like when you get near hidden objects or hidden things, they have a particular audio sound that plays, and you can kind of figure out a little bit of where that you're around something.
Oh, okay. Now I remember, Chase, because the secret base was the one at night. Because I still have that clip saved. I have to show you because I hit one of the elite snipers out of their nest. But I hit him accidentally with an armor-piercing bullet. So it threw him, and you get to see him fall from the entire tower, like all the way to the bottom.
Oh, from the crane. Yeah, that was good.
So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You have to share that in the Discord. We all need to see this.
I was just like, I've never hit somebody off there. That's awesome.
Oh, man. The other part of the group chat is Chase, Steven, and I playing Zombie Army Trilogy last week. Had a lot of fun with that. That's one we played through most of the first part of the game. I think we're pretty damn close to ending it, I believe. But it was nice getting past the church I was stuck in before, so I get to see what the rest of the game looks like, which has been a lot of fun. So yeah, hopefully we'll be playing more of that tonight and kind of continuing on from it. But
like, yeah, you miss a lot of the X-ray cams from Sniper Elite. But you get such a satisfaction kicking skeletons. So
that is, yeah. As soon as you told me that, I was like, that makes some of these sections.
I'm like,
so
I
much
hate
easier.
shooting skeletons. I like kicking them because they shatter.
I didn't know you could kick them, so I was always shooting them. So like that one part in the town where you're in the intersection and like waves of stuff are coming, I made it through that by myself, shooting everything. God, if I go back now, I can just kick things. It makes it so much easier. I had no idea. My eyes are open.
The good news, fellas, is I go back to my 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. shifts this coming week. So I will be able to possibly game on some nights.
Yeah.
So
let us know on Discord.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll just have to schedule it with Chase, who exists in the future from the rest of us.
Yes.
He's already in the middle of enjoying Sunday while all of us are still grasping the end of Saturday.
How's the weather of tomorrow right now, Chase?
Oh, it sucks over here. It's like the middle of summer and it's just like brutally hot.
Oh no. It was I think the high today where I was like 76. It was really nice in the sun. But then as soon as the sun started going down, the wind picked up. I was like, "Oh no, I'm cold."
Oh, it was an absolutely fabulous day weather-wise today, so
76 is like horrible.
What, 76? Yeah.
Yeah, that's like death.
Yeah.
What, hot?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
It's way too hot.
Oh, that's adorable, boys. You guys have a
house.
no.
I'd be like, I need to move.
Laughs and laughs in Floridian.
Yeah, Rachel is just aware as I am, where they're like, "Oh, it's only 85 today. Oh, thank God, it's not as bad as it could be."
Oh, literally, me sometimes, they're like, oh my God, in the middle of summer, like July. And, they're like, oh my God, it's so hot. And then I'm just like, and we look at the temperature and I'm like, okay, it's 105. What's the heat index? 120. I'm like, okay, yeah, we're all going to die. Everybody stay inside.
Stay between 63 and 67 and everybody's good.
No.
Yeah, your air conditioner will fry if you even try for that here. Like, I try and keep the house cool, but
I'm at
middle of the
67
summer
right now. And in the morning it's 63.
Yeah, but is it 105 outside? Because eventually we will deal with that
When
this
it's
year.
105 outside, the highest it gets in here is 71, and even then I'm like mad at the outside.
Listen,
Don't worry, the outside's mad at you too.
Yeah.
I tell, this is going to sound terrible, but like during the summertime, believe it or not, like the ideal temperature and most cost effective, at least in Florida, that your house should be is 76.
That's gross.
It's
Well,
gross.
He's not wrong.
It's not wrong. And that's
I'm
what
not-
but
I'm
it's
not
gonna
ideal.
save that's gonna save your air conditioner though from like dying an early
It's
death.
brand new. It's fine. I'll die before it dies.
Well, that's a
dark.
good way to go to the
Damn,
news.
Steven, oh
Give me-
my
give me
God.
55. Give me 55.
All right. Let's jump to the news. So Steven is talking about being the first one of us to leave, it sounds like, because of the weather.
To shed his mortal coil.
Right. But Nintendo now has the first game leaving Nintendo Switch Online.
Weird.
It kind of makes sense for a few different reasons. But the first game being removed from Nintendo Switch Online on March 27th at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 a.m. Eastern time, which is weirdly specific, Nintendo, when that happens. But it's the Super Nintendo game Super Soccer, which was put on there the day that they launched the Nintendo Switch Online for the Super Nintendo. But this, I'm kind of wondering if it's because of the Sony acquisition / partnership with Kadokawa Corporation, which owned the maker of Super Soccer, which is Spike Chunsoft.
I think it's just twofold.
Mhm.
I think it's just a license that has just expired, and now that Sony has their little stake in it, they didn't acquire it, but they bought a lot of stake in it. But I think they're just like, yeah, we're not going to renew it. I think that's all they said.
Maybe it's such a weird one, and people every time this happens. Like, have you seen the articles where they're like, "Oh, the games are leaving Nintendo Switch Online. This is why it's terrible." And it's like, it's one
No,
game.
I hate the
for
ones
first
that are
time.
using Nintendo properties as their cover story.
Yeah,
Like, another Switch game is gone forever. I'm like, shut up.
guys, it's Super Soccer. I've played it. You're not really missing much. Like,
Quick, everybody buy physical copies. It's going to be $1,000 now.
I probably have one in a bin somewhere. I don't know.
That's probably what they want, is to freak people out.
Oh yeah, they want the clicks. That's how that goes. But have any of us, honestly, I'm going to ask you, have any of us actually ever played Super Soccer other than out of morbid curiosity when it first came out?
No, I've only shot a Super Soaker. But
I legit don't even know what game you're talking about. So
if she legit doesn't know, then it's over.
like I don't even remember seeing it on there. That's how much I don't know about it. I
It's
can't
the
even
most
tell you.
generic artwork too.
I was about to say, I can't even tell you what the damn cover art looks like.
I'm looking to see, do I even own it physically just to see? I don't actually.
Wow.
I have Super Tennis, but I probably saw Super Soccer and went, I don't even care.
Oh my
I
goodness.
just don't care.
I'm yawning.
I'm sorry. If you want a soccer game on Super Nintendo, you get Mega Man Soccer. That is the better one.
Fair.
That is a good game. I wish that would come out on the NSO so we could play it.
That one's horrible.
I liked it as a kid. I'm probably, by the time I get to play it again, I'll remember that my memories are terrible.
Nintendo World Cup.
Say what?
It's all about Nintendo World Cup.
There you go.
Or Sega Soccer Slam. I missed that one.
So I don't foresee this being like some trend of a bunch of games going away. And inevitably it's going to probably happen with some of the third-party releases just because licenses wear out over time, or, they don't get renewed. I'm shocked it took this long for it to actually happen, because PlayStation Network and Xbox Live are Xbox Gold, whatever, they have games come and go all the time. So this has been like the most consistent, just adding things for the past couple of years I think I've seen out of most of these companies. So don't know, kind of weird. So let's go into another Nintendo issue that people just shouldn't, they could never be arguing about. All right, so we had the Pokemon Direct this week, which I have seen so much back and forth about because people love to get mad about things, and it's hilarious.
It's the Pokemon cycle.
Yeah.
Hate it, complain about it, bestseller. The end.
Yep. So I'm just going to go through this.
I love it.
The first thing they showed is a series I need to go back and watch because I find it absolutely adorable because I am a sucker for stop motion. And that is Pokemon Concierge, which is airing on Netflix, but that's going to be getting new episodes in September. Has anyone else actually watched this yet?
Well, I'm definitely going to watch the first 4 on YouTube because I have YouTube Premium, so no ads for me. So I will definitely be doing that.
But say I have it on there, and then I might just watch them on
Well, yeah,
Netflix.
no, it looks amazing how they put everything together, and they showed back behind the scenes of the new episode a little bit.
I hope they do one of my favorite behind the scenes thing for any stop motion movie. And I love every time this is shown where they show the animation happening in real time as like characters are moving and walking around, but you see a time lapse of the animators moving, like running through it at super speed, doing the frames. I just love watching those kind of behind the scenes. Chase, is this something you guys are interested in watching or even aware of it?
Probably not. I don't know.
Maybe. Day one.
Well, I actually don't know. Like, are you into Pokemon at all? I've never actually asked.
Yeah.
Okay.
Played and like watched Pokemon like back in the day. I don't really do it
I'm
now,
familiar with it.
Yeah.
I don't think I've played a Pokemon game like other than like Legends Arceus or whatever. I don't think I've played a Pokemon game since the 3DS.
I know recently you were sending me a picture. You got a Digimon DVD set, so.
Oh yeah, I've been watching that.
Is it still got that crazy opening? The music. It's the only thing I ever remember.
Absolutely. This one is a very interesting collection because it's just the English stuff. When you turn on subtitles, you have to like turn it on through the DVD player, not through the menu. There's no way to select it through the menu. You have to like press closed captioning button on your remote that comes with your DVD or Blu-ray player, whatever you're playing it on, and it'll trigger the closed captions. But it doesn't have it programmed like into a menu or anything. You literally put in the DVD and it takes you to just a page. Essentially, it has a little intro video sequence thing that is just the opening to it. Oh
Lord,
that thing, and then it has a selection of episodes, and it tells you what episodes are on what disc, which is just I'm enjoying it.
Yep.
It's a flashback, like total blast from the past.
Yep.
And it's just fun and just enjoyable, and it just kind of throws you in to it. It's like, oh, here you go. So, and you're like, so you learn lore along the way. But
all right, moving on to the next thing. Pokemon Sleep apparently is still a thing. I forgot that existed.
I've been playing every day since its conception.
I have no idea what that is, other than that
I have literally, I guess I've literally slept on it.
Yeah.
You're fired.
You're funny and fired.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm going to hand the show over to Steven. I'll send you the login information. I'm in my room. I'm in my game room. I built it literally. So Cresselia and Darkrai are going to be popping up in upcoming events.
I have no idea who those are, though.
I know who those are. I think it's from Black and White, but I still find it weird that I'm like, what kind of event would it be if the main part of this game is you're sleeping? Like, I guess it's stuff in between, but I don't know. After that, we had Pokemon Go Tour Unova begins March 1st with Pokemon Black's Kyurem and Black Kyurem and White Kyurem.
I didn't know that was still a thing.
It is for now. We'll see how that goes since the company might be selling itself off. We'll see what happens there. Pokemon Unite is getting Suswin, Alola, and Raichu, and
I'm sorry.
Alchemy.
Whoa.
He just said Reese's in Pokemon.
I never know how to pronounce it properly. Okay,
Suicune?
Suicune. Okay,
Yes.
cool. We have words. I don't know.
That's
I
Reese's.
have been corrected.
Oh my god. Oh. Steven, we actually agreed on something for once with pronunciation.
Jesus.
You gotta put the emphasis on every syllable.
Check me up here, man. I don't want to be by myself.
She's like, nope.
Sorry.
Karateka.
I'm out of here. Bye. Suswin y'all later.
No.
I don't know. It's the water dog one. I don't know.
It's the water dog one. Yep, that's it.
Yep, that's how it goes.
Yeah.
God. So Pokemon Unite's getting those 3 characters added in. And then Pokemon TCG Pocket is getting ranked matches finally, along with a special event as well as a new set of cards that are coming out for it. I need to try and get back into it. I kind of fell off for a while because it was fun getting the cards, but it wasn't really scratching that itch for me wanting to collect cards. It's like, oh, great, I get a digital version. You can kind of flip through those, but I still want to have a notebook I can kind of look at.
Well, if you try to buy Pokemon cards in real life, you'll notice that not only is GameStop making it so you can't order online, or do they sell out instantly on Best Buy, or do a bunch of grown men just tackle you at every toy store. So this is a lot more peaceful.
Yeah, I believe it. Yes.
If it was any other card game, go for it.
Well, that's the thing is, like, I finally saw, I think it was yesterday, Marvel has a card set that they're coming out with. I've only seen it in one place. I'm going to have to try and get some, but it's an actual card set that is not tied to a freaking game. It is just an art card set, which is what I love. That's what I want. So I'm going to try and get
Magic the Gathering?
I couldn't even get the Ghostbusters one or any of the other ones. Like, those are selling out just as fast.
Those decks looked awesome, though.
They look great, but what's the point if you can't get them? Like, I never even had a chance for the Ghostbusters one. I wanted those just for the collection, but nope, didn't even get a moment for that. But we'll see how the rank matches go once we actually kind of do some multiplayer. Now, the first game they actually announced for this was Pokemon Champions. This was announced from Switch and mobile, so they can play it on cell phones. And of course, they had their lovely lead-up trailer that's like, do you remember Pokemon? You've been playing it since red and blue or blue and green back in the day and all through this time. And like now it's just the battles. That's literally all it is just the
Pokemon
battles.
Stadium.
Yeah, pretty much Pokemon Stadium. I'm kind of worried because it's on mobile along with Switch is how much of a microtransaction pit this is going to become. It's like, oh, you battle and your Pokemon's knocked out. You better have, wait so long to revive them.
Because their big thing is, since it works with Pokemon Home, and you can bring in Pokemon from Pokemon Go and all the Switch game Pokemon. So it's like, there's going to be a lot of just transferring Pokemon. So I think that's where they're going to get you.
I'm about to say they can get you there. And my worry is, like I said, like if your Pokemon's passed out, you got to heal them if they only give you so many heals per time or something in the game.
I don't know how gimped mobile's going to be because it's not going to have Pokemon Home to help them. I don't know.
I thought all versions were going to have access to Home.
I'll be surprised because I don't know if people want to share their stuff on mobile.
True. We'll have to see on that one. But yeah, so it's a PvP battler that just kind of see where that goes and what characters they bring over. So the meat and potatoes of the show was finally getting to see Pokemon ZA or Pokemon Legends ZA. And so the whole thing takes place entirely in Lumio City, previously featured in Pokemon X and Y, with wild areas built in like parks in the city for you to fight and capture Pokemon.
X and Y was the one with the one of them had the deer, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Because that was the one that was like the French part of them.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is where Lumio City is from.
I liked that one. I remember really enjoying that one because previously the only one I liked was like black and white and black and white too.
So this one takes place after X and Y, but the game itself is releasing late 2025. So we're expecting
time to go back and play X or Y, I guess.
Yep. there's a lot more verticality to the design in this game because even though you're just in the city, they've said nothing about leaving the city. So we're just going to be in that area. Don't expect to go running on the rest of it.
City.
Yeah. Oops, all city.
Oops, buildings.
Yeah. But you'll be able to there's like little teleporters that take you to the rooftops, but then you can run around and Assassin's Creed Light yourself by just jumping over into other rooftops and exploring while you're up there. So we'll see how that's handled. Capturing Pokemon looks like it's going back to what it was in Arceus, where you see them out in the wild and you can either try and stun them and throw a Pokeball at them to capture them in real time, or you can bring out a Pokemon and use it to attack it, to weaken it, to throw a Pokeball and try and capture it.
Mm-hmm.
But the starters are kind of a weird mix. And it threw me when I looked at it. So you can choose between the grass type Chikorita, which is from Gold and Silver. There's the water type Totodile, which is from... I've heard it pronounced like that.
Totodile, crocodile.
I've heard it pronounced as Totodile in their official things too.
Totodile, you automatically correct them because it's a crocodile, so it's Totodile.
I'll have to go back and find the video because this was an official thing that they were talking about.
If they're pronouncing it Totodile, whoever said it, that it's got to be a language thing.
It might be, but that's where I heard it. So that's what I was saying.
In Swedish, crocodile is krokodile. So that's fun fact. I learned that from True Blood.
Really?
Thank you, Alexander Skarsgård.
Oh, this is great. Yes, and then the one oddball is Tepig, which is from Black and White.
Yes, Tepig. Okay.
What did you think I was going to say? It's Tepig.
Tepig or something.
Tepig makes me think, every time like I heard that name, I thought, oh, this just reminds me of tepid.
Me too.
Tepid water. Like, it's just a pig.
It's a fire pig, which is
fire
just
pig
pre-bacon. I don't know.
Pre-bacon.
Bakes himself.
That is what I want to name it now. I'm going to pick that one and just name him pre-bacon.
Call him Hormel.
Hormel. Jesus. So, yeah, we're not getting any new Pokemon for this intro, but it's kind of a weird mix of different ones. I don't know why there's like 2 from Gold and Silver and then 1 from Black and White. I'm sure there's some story-based reason. I'm curious to see what it is.
I wonder, they're just like, guys, we need grass, we need fire, we need water. What are some older ones that people like?
Pokemon trying to make the lesser Pokemon more popular.
But I do like that they're continuing on with like the Legends series, which is nice. Like,
yeah, they said they were going to keep doing those, which is kind of cool. It's like a side part.
Well, I like it because it kind of bides time between mainline stuff, where they can, even though this is main like Pokemon stuff, like I'm talking like big games.
I was going to talk about it because this is actually a major change in that regards too, because this is the first time in their normal 3-year cycle that they have not shown or talked about the next major mainline Pokemon game. By their schedule, they've done that. They have not had, I think the furthest was a 4-year gap way back on the DS. But this is the first time since then that the 3rd year of this presentation on Pokemon Day did not show the next game, which is surprising. So it's kind of good that they're giving them time, it seems.
Yeah. Well, I think also contextually, they are releasing a new console.
That shouldn't affect it because that's the other thing I was going to talk about. Pokemon never, ever supports the hardware in the first couple of years.
Oh, no.
Even from the very first Pokemon, it was released at the end of life of Game Boy. Like they were planning on ending the Game Boy until like, oh shit, this sold really well. Go ahead, Steven.
Well, what's interesting is when they talked about Pokemon Champions and Pokemon Legends Z to A, they said it's coming to the Nintendo Switch family of systems.
I didn't catch that part, but that makes sense. I mean, this looks like it's
the Switch. That's the first time you guys said family of systems. You didn't say that while OLED and Light existed. Now you're saying family. Okay.
But see, I think they used the term family of systems before for Light, OLED, and regular.
I have never heard it, actually.
Yeah, I've never heard it.
I'll have to go back. I'm pretty sure I've heard that in their marketing at least a couple times, but
don't ruin our dreams.
It's still backwards compatible.
We want the game to run right.
It's backwards compatible. No? Okay, I thought you would laugh at me. All right, so the weird new change they're making for this one that I'm kind of back and forth on is the battle system itself. No longer is it turn-based, where you just go, you're fighting something and you go in and have your back and forth on which moves, but you're controlling your character, the trainer, and the Pokemon at the same time, having to actually move them and dodge different attacks and try and hit the other creature while they're moving around with attacks as well, which makes me wonder, like, how is this going to affect people that play Pokemon because it's turn-based? Like, they may not be able to handle for different reasons playing where they're controlling the characters while trying to move around three-dimensional space. I only say that because I'm worried about, like, Jennifer loves playing Pokemon, but she has trouble dealing with things that are moving in 3D at the same time. So I don't know if this will be a Pokemon game she actually will be able to play unless they have some option to make it turn-based again, which I don't think they're going to. And the other thing is, how will the dodge and real-time mechanics affect moves like when you have charge or cooldown, like Hyper Beam and stuff like that? Will it make your Pokemon have to stay still for a certain amount of time, which could then, give the other person an opportunity if, like, you miss with it? And then on the flip side, will this make weaker but faster moves actually have a purpose again? Steven, go ahead.
As somebody pointed out on Blue Sky,
Mm-hmm.
all your questions will be answered. All you need to do is fire up a copy of Lightning Returns, Final Fantasy 13, and you will know exactly how the battle system works.
This is correct.
Rachel's face, though, is great. Like, what the fuck?
Lightning Returns, though, does make me uncomfortable. It always has.
I still
You
have
don't like
it on
Animal Crossing,
PS3.
Final Fantasy?
What?
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk
now
about
we
it.
have to. I'm curious.
No.
What the hell?
No.
I will just say there's a lot of Lightning Returns is people saying, like, I wish I had an apple from the town 4 miles over. Can you go get one for me? There's a lot of fetch quests in a Final Fantasy game.
That sucks. Yeah, so what do you guys think about, like, the moves and stuff? Do you think we're going to have an effect with weaker, older moves kind of maintaining more of a purpose of being, like, quick moves?
I'm okay with it being more arcadey for me, that you can move around and attack.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I only brought up the question. The only reason I even really thought about it is because of, of how Jennifer's going to have to play it. That's kind of made me wonder, like, how
Makes me wonder if they'll have an option like Rebirth had, where you can be like, do you want to play where you have to move around, do stuff, or do you want to just pick how you attack?
I didn't know they
Final Fantasy Rebirth always had that issue where people were like, I want to do the old way, I want to do the new way. So they're like, why not both? And then they held her up in the cornfield.
Yeah, I think it's more of just like, I'm thinking more of like an accessibility thing. Just wondering how that'll work. I'm for the idea. I'm excited to try it, and I'm not going to have an issue with it. I just want to see how that works, and I just thought it'd be kind of a fun way to, because you have to rethink the strategy, because you never had to think about how your movement was in the older games. You would factor in the speed, so when you would attack or not, as well as you would tend to get rid of weaker moves because you had more powerful ones, but not having to think about how you moved during that. So I don't know. When are we going to get a Dynasty Warriors Pokemon from this? Just moving around, trying to get Chase talking.
It'll get there eventually.
I don't think that would happen.
We did.
But I think we didn't we?
I think it was on Wii U and it was boring.
What game was that?
Was it a digital only one? Because I don't have a physical one.
It was a digital only. It was like Pokemon Crush or Crash or something. But I just remember having to walk around and hitting like a big version of a Pokemon and a bunch of little ones, and they're like, "You defeated the."
Yeah, I have. That was from the Proto Amiibos. I have. That
you had to, and you had to get all the Amiibos, and GameStop.
They're the
for
reason.
4 hours, and I never carried them again, so I couldn't get the whole set.
I have some extras. I'll send you some. I have to be careful though, because they are stupid fragile. Like, they'll just break off. Because they're the reason of what led to, like, Link with that big yellow bar on his leg, because they're trying to make sure that didn't happen to the Amiibos themselves. I'll break them out later. They're sitting actually right over there, but I'm not digging them out live on the show under my printer. So Also, the last thing for this one, Mega Evolutions are coming back, which makes sense because they were also introduced in Pokemon X and Y. So it would be really weird to have a mechanic based in that game, in that world, all of a sudden not be there.
What about the huge ones? So you can have like kaiju fights.
Oh man,
that'd be great because like they have to keep rebuilding the city. Like you could
That's
be in the city.
There we go. Nintendo, I just printed you money. I expect the check in the mail by Friday.
So are any of you guys actually interested in getting this Pokemon game later this year? I am. I just didn't know.
I'll get it for Switch 2.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be a Switch 1 game. It'll just be backwards compatible.
Otherwise, I'll wait for like Woot or somebody to have it for $35 because that's what I bought Arceus at.
Oh, Chase, you considering Pokemon, or he's just shaking his head no?
What are you talking about? It's Kingdom Come Deliverance Pokemon.
she could play it then. I probably won't.
Oh, Lord,
I might get
She'll
back
make,
into...
she'll make you do all the battles. So.
Yeah, I might do maybe when the next mainline game comes out or something. I might get back into. I don't know.
Yeah, I still play with the kids, so I usually give them a shot. Rachel, what about you?
About the Pokemon games?
Yeah.
I mean, I will give this.
Is this one intrigued you to come back?
I still haven't finished Arceus. I play it for like 20 minutes and then I go, okay, I need a break now.
Which I find it funny because we're talking about the pronunciation stuff. I think it was the Nintendo themselves, like it's Arceus.
Whatever.
You Pokemon weebs.
It's close enough. It's not.
Yeah, you guys have been picking on me about it, so I'm just going to take my shot.
Arceus is a less heinous mispronunciation than
I know, it's
Suicine.
Either
way. So
hopefully you at least played Detective Pikachu.
Oh yeah, I played the first one. Didn't finish it, but
why have we not gotten a sequel to that movie? Damn it, it was a good movie.
Well, that's a great question. So
I can tell you why, but yeah.
Oh. All right, so let's move on then. So there was some more stuff that happened in the direct that I was just like, that's pretty much all we need to cover anyway.
Pokemon Cafe.
Yeah, Pokemon Cafe is the other thing. All right, let's move on to our next little bit then. So EA has done the most non-EA thing they have done in a while, and that is release the source code for not one, but 4 Command & Conquer games. Free out there for everybody to modify, resell, do whatever they want with. The 4 titles being Command & Conquer, the original release, Command & Conquer Red Alert, which is still one of my favorites, Command & Conquer Renegade, which I've never played, but it's a first-person shooter in the Command & Conquer universe, and then Command & Conquer Generals. So people can go...
I need Mass Effect N7 Wars now. We need the Normandy Wars.
I'm about to say, people could take these engines and modify the graphics and stuff and make so many other games out of it just by doing skin swaps and stuff with a lot of things, which I'm guaranteed that's going to happen. But it's nice to see EA actually doing this because a lot of developers haven't been doing this much lately. id Software was doing it for a little bit with some of the earlier Doom games and stuff, and then they got acquired by Microsoft and they haven't done it since. And that's mostly been it. Like a lot of other big companies are just kind of holding on to it, but I don't know. What are y'all's thoughts on this? Anybody interested to take a look and kind of see, or I know we're not developers.
I'm more waiting for the Mario Maker part stuff where they're like, what are you going to make?
Yeah. I'm very curious to see what people do. Cause I guarantee we're going to get at least ports to particular hardware or just seeing what they can run it on. So we might see
that or the next Steam Next Fest are going to have a bunch of RTS games.
That could happen. So I don't know. I just wanted to mention that one because that was kind of a fun little bit. All right, let's move on to our last news story of the night. So Warner Brothers Games has announced they are shutting down Monolith Productions, the makers of No One Lives Forever, the Fear series, Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor, Middle-earth: Shadow of War, Player First Games, who made Multiverses. May they rest in peace. And Warner Brothers San Diego, as well as
just helped Multiverses.
Because even if you try and look up that part of the company, it just takes you to normal Warner Brothers games. They won't even show you like what they worked on anymore.
Yeah, they apparently all they did was help with multiverses, helping with the online and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And part of the scrubbing of the website sucks because Monolith Productions actually had a timeline of all their games on their website. They don't now.
Yep, that's gone as well. Which sucks. And then lastly, they canceled the previously announced Wonder Woman game that Monolith was working on.
That was DC. They don't want to focus on DC.
Which is ironic as hell because Warner Brothers themselves stated this is happening so that they can focus on their, quote, key franchises, which they said like Mortal Kombat, series that shall not be named, DC, and Game of Thrones. Which is ironic as hell they mentioned DC while canceling a big DC title that people were looking forward to.
They just wanted to shut down that particular studio who happened to be working on it.
But as Chase might be saying, they did specifically say DC, primarily Batman.
Chase, go ahead.
That's what I was going to say.
But James Gunn did say that they're talking with NetherRealm and Arkham to making games that enrich their universe. So they're probably going to force Arkham Studios to make a Batman game that's not Suicide Squad.
I mean, I'm not arguing with that fact, but I
don't know what NetherRealm will give us unless they're going to give us, I don't know, Game of Thrones combat. Like what?
I have no idea. It's just all of your characters are going to die somehow mysteriously, and then whoever wins at the end is not who you expected it to be.
But
Game of Thrones would work better with like a company like Paradox or something. To be entirely honest,
I played their hack and slash version, and I played their Telltale version, and I'm like, it's not that great because you couldn't get all the actors at the time.
I didn't even know there was a hack and slash version.
Yeah,
honestly,
it was made by Focus Entertainment, which made a lot of those budget hack and slashes back then.
We're probably going to get a mod for one of the Command & Conquer games for Game of Thrones that would make more sense than what they're going to make.
But they did ask some other people there, and they stated that Suicide Squad lost $200 million, and then the fact that both Quidditch Champions and Multiverses financially failed, and Multiverses in particular lost them another $100 million, that they had no choice but to get rid of these studios and cancel Wonder Woman. They said Wonder Woman was canceled because of Suicide Squad. They basically just shifted the blame.
This is a situation that's actually worse than what happened with Square when they did the Marvel Avengers game that absolutely bombed, but it bombed so bad that when they corrected themselves and made the Guardians of the Galaxy, which was everything people wanted, a really good single player story mode and everything else in there, it completely bombed because everybody had such a bad taste in their mouth from the Avengers. They didn't want to touch it. So now, at least it got released and we can play it. Wonder Woman never even got a chance. And everything they've shown that they released from the game looked great. So I was just kind of hoping we'd get to see it. I didn't know what time period it was set in. Technically, she's been alive for damn near forever, so they could have had it in all kinds of different time periods. So who knows? But the other bad thing is this also means that the Nemesis system that EA had patented whenever it was made by Monolith Soft for their Middle-earth games, which is basically, it would allow for confrontations with random enemies that would then, you'd beat them and then they would show up later on, kind of more advanced forms, and have that back and forth with your character and give you rivalries.
They can release the source code.
Yeah, that'd be nice, but they're not going to, because the patent for this will not expire for anyone else to be able to use it until 2036.
There's ways to expedite that, though. It's hard. It's not easy to do, but there is ways to expedite that if they wanted to.
I hope somebody does. I just think,
but I don't think
they're going to have a fight with Warner Brothers.
So I don't think they. I don't think they. I do not think that. I do not think that they will do that, though, because they would have to get something financially from it in order to do it. I think that's the only way that they would do that expedited process is they would have to financially they'd have to, instead, because they would have to I think pay into it. So they would have to then get paid by somebody in order to do it. Oh, you want this? Okay, then we'll work this out, but you give us X number of dollars.
Yep. Chase, I'm sorry, Steven, go ahead.
Yeah, Chase, go ahead. Okay. No, I said if it's one of those things when it rains, it pours.
Mhm.
So after all this was happening, like I just read an article today, which has me slightly concerned, is that apparently any Warner Brothers DVD manufactured from 2006 to 2008 is coming under laser rot, and they're stopped. There's people all over the place that are starting to report that they're not working anymore.
Oh shit.
And they said, while it's okay since a lot of stuff has been re-released on the Blu-rays and such, people like me are worried about the Looney Tunes collections that are butchered in the Blu-ray format. So they're missing all their content, which I have, and then other people who own all the golden age of Hollywood, stuff like everything from Wild Bunch, Shawshank Redemption, Dukes of Hazzard, uh, the Errol Flynn movies like Desperate Journey and stuff like that. Everybody's really worried about them because they're going to become lost media.
The only thing I'll say to that is legally ambiguous, but there are really good and easy ways to make backups of DVDs, including the menus.
Yeah, but I just don't want to suddenly want to watch my Looney Tunes again and then it doesn't work. That's the part that
people are going to have to be preemptive on this.
So does laser rot just happen spontaneously, or is it with a continued use kind of stuff?
It's a spontaneous type thing. It's any physical media will eventually degrade. It's just like with even old VHS tapes, even if they don't wear down, they can mold or things can happen to them where they can break down over time. Which is why I'm having to get some equipment to clean some tapes so I can digitize them.
So far I haven't had any issues with any of mine.
It's one of those fingers crossed things, but
yeah.
It's like Drago said, everybody dies.
It's like you remember the issue when we were at GameStop, people would bring in discs and you would see where the layers are coming apart, like you could see the little bubble. That is disc breakdown. Sometimes it's just it's from production, but it's also happening to media. Like earlier CDs are breaking down and starting to come apart. There's PlayStation games that are unplayable for some people, depending on if they weren't stored precisely, which is part of why my game room is so temperature controlled, because I've got so much physical media I'm trying to keep in its best means. That's kind of the downside of discs that they're finding, is they do break down a lot faster than cartridges do.
To me, it's just odd that it's Warner Brothers DVDs.
I'm wondering if it's something with their production.
It might have been, and it might have been just not just necessarily their production, but where it was produced. Maybe during that time period they used a specific production facility. If memory serves, I remember somebody once telling me that a lot of disc-based things are produced and printed in Mexico. I don't know if that's but I guess maybe where it was, maybe it was too close to the coast. I'm not sure. Maybe
there was a Horcrux from 2006 to 2008 that was in there.
Who knows?
But yeah, that's something to kind of watch out for. And like I said, for anybody listening, if you have the capability, be proactive and at least back up some of that material, because it does have a lifetime. It will eventually happen. Which is why, even with my gaming collection, I love having my collection, but actual preservation is going to be in emulation and people backing up stuff, because that is the only way it can last as long as it's available. So I don't know. But as for the Nemesis system, I'm hoping if they're going to hold the patent for it, I think the biggest complaint we had is the fact they never used it beyond the 2 games. I'd be happy if they would use it in other stuff. And Chase, I think you were 100% right. It would be a good fit for a Game of Thrones world, to go into battles and have a nemesis and change the story. Go ahead, Steven.
I also don't mind if Rocksteady takes it.
Yeah, that'd be kind of funny to beat up a henchman and have him come back.
I don't think.
Well, it would be like you get rid of one Batman villain, the other one takes over its turf. So
true, Rachel. What were you gonna say?
I don't think they're gonna let it go unless they get some money out of it.
But I mean, they could use it. If they're making. It's still them making Game of Thrones games.
They're going to sell it to Amazon so that Amazon can make James Bond games with the Nemesis system.
I didn't even report on that because it was so depressing to me.
Hear me out. If they're going to sell it to Amazon, they need a boys game. Think how violent that would be, the boys. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I know they've gotten bad enough for some of them. They had to make the animated ones because they went to a level of violence and stuff they were doing they could not do in live action. And I was like, it was great. All right. Let's move on to the speed run.
Twinkies. Oh,
God dang it. All right. A Good Snowman is Hard to Build is an indie puzzle game that was released back in 2015 for $15. But to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the game, the developer, Dracnet and Friends, have set a new pricing system on itch.io that sets the cost based on the temperature in London.
That's funny.
Every hour. So as they put it, if it's 9.2 degrees Celsius in London, the game will be selling for $9.20. And then they were asked a few questions and answered, and yes, at 0 degrees, the game is free. But anything lower than that does not mean that they pay you. As they quoted, they said, "Nice try, the game will be free." So if it gets into the negatives, you're not getting money for getting this game. That would make so much no sense at all. Just next up, this one I was super happy about. Stephen King has confirmed that he will be contributing to the upcoming Dark Tower TV adaptation from Mike Flanagan. So,
do we get Idris and McConaughey back?
No.
I liked that movie. The reason for that, and people were complaining like, "Oh, why do they have him as Roland?" I was like, so I don't want to spoil too much for some people, but basically the whole idea of the Dark Tower with the story is loops of time and little changes that affect as each turn through the wheel as everything goes through. So I was just, when I saw the movie, I was like, all right, that's Roland this time. Cool, moving on. And they just continued on from that as a different turn of the wheel from the books, from the comics, from this TV series. It can all be continuity. Calm down, people. It's okay.
My question is
yes.
if Stephen King is confirmed to be contributing to it.
He confirmed it himself. Yep.
Is okay, and this is true for almost all Stephen King media where it's a film or TV. Is he going to have a cameo? And what is it?
I'll let you know if he's in The Monkey because it's based on his story.
Because that's
right. It is, isn't it? Oh shit.
Yeah. So I remember.
I want to see that.
I remember introducing like one of my friends to Kingdom Hospital for the first time. If you're a Stephen King fan and you have not seen that, find it. Find some place to watch it. It is almost impossible to find now. I have it on DVD. Thank God I do.
Back it up.
I don't know how to do that, Jeremy.
We'll teach you. It's easy.
I don't have a disc drive, so good luck.
I'll mail you one.
Okay. Please do. But
she thinks I'm kidding.
No, please do. If it connects via USB, I will connect it to my please do. Go ahead.
Case needs a disc drive too.
Yeah.
Different kind of disc drive.
Different kind of disc drive.
Yeah.
But no. That's my question. Anytime I see Stephen King TV, movie, whatever, my questions are, okay, is he going to be in it? And when?
Was he in the movie Thinner?
I don't know.
I watched that.
I think he was,
but I don't know if I ever saw him in it or not. No, he was reading a newspaper in that one, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's like he's in this case he's like
there's so many places he could
package
fit
for
in.
Tony Stank.
Yes.
Because that's the fun thing. Like, so the Dark Tower is basically the universe of all of his books. Almost everything he's written ties into that series. It's like the keystone to all of his stuff. Because this was like one of the defining book
even
series.
Cujo?
Yeah, every one of them.
Okay.
It's like
Shining,
the universe. You got Bayonetta connects to Devil May Cry, connects to Beautiful Joe, you know?
Yeah, I'm sure there's different. I think I'm trying to remember exactly how Cujo connected to it, but almost everything he's written somehow ties into, because the Dark Tower itself is like the center of existence where everything is connected to it. So you've got like the vampires from Salem's Lot that show up. You've got,
Careful.
Huh? Well, I'm not going to go too much into detail.
Yeah, careful.
Salem's Lot came out in the 70s. Calm down, people. Everybody knows about that one.
Aerith died.
Oh God, Steven.
Because
No,
Cloud
she didn't.
lied.
I played Final Fantasy VII recently. She lived. God, I hate there's a
I see
generation that
dead
thinks that.
people. Because he was dead the whole movie. Okay.
So next up, if you see the upcoming A Minecraft movie between April 3rd and April 6th,
I'll be washing my hair.
yeah, you get you have a little bit left. That joke still works. You get a code for an in-game jetpack in Minecraft, which is fine. Promotional stuff happens all the time. But my Minecraft loving nerdy ass has to know, does this let you build one in the game, or is there going to be some child that gets home seeing this movie, probably loved it because children like whatever.
Yeah.
They put the
kids are
code in,
weird,
get
man.
the jetpack, immediately crash in lava, jetpack destroyed, they died. Are they just shit out of luck and they lose
Be
it?
like a Fortnite skin, $100.
Right. Or do they get to make it again? Or like, I'm wondering, how's this going to work? Because almost every time, if you can get something in Minecraft, you can make it in Minecraft. This is a code. So I'm like, what's going on? It'll probably end up being like a timed exclusive thing until it comes out for everybody later. But I just wanted to overthink it and thought that was funny. Just imagining some child getting upset and crying about it. Or an adult, could be me. I don't know. All right. NVIDIA is causing a bad new trend of graphics cards, no longer supporting PhysX, which is resulting in games like the Batman Arkham series and other titles to only run on their 50 series cards at around 20 FPS or lower, when they would previously on the older last-gen cards run at over 120 frames a second with everything on max. Which is terrible. Digital Foundry was talking about this when they pointed it out. And what was both the most ridiculous way to solve this and the craziest thing, they mounted a 40 series graphics card into the computer that was already running a 50 series graphics card. So it had two graphics cards in there. Didn't connect anything to the 40 series just so it could run Batman Arkham Asylum correctly, so that the 40 series card could handle the PhysX while the 50 series did everything else.
Well, here's
That's
my question.
bullshit.
How hot was that computer? 2, how loud was it? And 3, did it take off and start to levitate?
I want to know what motherboard you freaking had
It was
room.
HOTTOGO.
Truly, hot to go.
I want to know, like, what motherboard did you use that supported the two cards, and what case actually had room for two of these monsters in it?
So clearly it was the not the Ferrari of motherboards, because I've had that one.
Unless it was an actual Ferrari body.
It was the really souped up RV of motherboards. Because
like,
it's big. It's got to be big to have space. And clearly, it might have not been like an actual case. It might have just been one of those PCs that they build like for dev
just
purposes
sitting on the table
that doesn't have a case. Or is a weird, like large, open custom case.
Maybe they keep it in a freezer to try and keep the temperature down.
Interesting. Digital Foundry, please tell us the answer to these questions.
I'll have to look and see if they showed the computer. That is funny. But the fact that... So, part of why this was a problem, PC has always been kind of... Like, I'm not a big PC gamer, but it's always been like the gold standard of backwards compatibility for a lot of stuff. That you can go back and play older games, even if you have to do modifications to get them to work. But when you would get a new graphics card, it was always a high point for a lot of people to take their favorite games that they had and see how much better they run now, like running it with all this stuff. Can you imagine paying like almost a couple $1,000s to get a 5090 card? Like, I'm going to go play Arkham Asylum that I was just playing at 120 FPS. What's it going to look like here? And you're not even pushing 20. Like, it's struggling. Like, how pissed would you be?
I think it's sad, but I think now we've like with just everything that's going on and less access to I guess the materials that you need to make these things or feel like there's less. I don't know. I think maybe the people who produce these things have in some ways stopped caring.
I think we have a thing for that.
Corporate greed.
I think that is the button other than our normal menu that gets used more than anything. Because corporate greed never ends.
No, it doesn't. And I think it's just they've stopped caring about the backwards compatibility. Much like when when Microsoft did all their new, versions of their operating system, Windows, whatever, where there were some games that you could not go back and play strictly because of compatibility packs issues.
Mm.
So like I have a
Yeah.
bunch of games that were like XP games, like old games that I'm just like, I should be able to run this because this computer is so new. Wrong. Won't even read it. Won't even
Yeah,
understand it. Too old.
software compatibility, I understand that does happen, but like when it's in the same generation of the graphics cards, that's the first time this has really been happening. You also should check out GOG.com. There's a lot of older PC games that they have modified to run on newer Windows system without DRM. So you may have to rebuy a game for a couple bucks, but then you have it, you download it. There's no online checks.
Oh, I will
and you
have to
can
look that up.
play a bunch of stuff. It's great.
The best thing they have over there is you can vote. You can vote and submit votes for games you want to still work on modern consoles. Modern PCs. So, and they will put it in consideration a lot of times, like they are doing to Fear Platinum from Monolith Productions, as they're making that preserved so you can still play it. They've gotten a lot of requests for Breath of Fire 4 because it was the only Breath of Fire on PC. So they're like, bring that back and make it playable. And they're like, okay, we hear you.
I will have to look through all of my stuff.
It's cool that you can vote for an old PC game to be preserved because they're starting that now. And they're like, we'll work on it. You just give us the votes.
What was that, Chase?
I said Fear Platinum would be good. That's Fear series was such a good game. Just a good series.
Seriously, it is.
I enjoyed watching it.
They were fun to play. But yeah, definitely GOG, like literally just GOG.com. It stands for Good Old Games.
Good Old Games.
Yep. Go check them out. Great little store. Good place to get stuff from. I buy a lot of stuff from there, so they're trustworthy. And last little bit we had here is a surprise announcement that I did not see coming. Steven just posted it to Discord, and I was like, what the hell is this? And as soon as I clicked on it, I was like,
greatest thing that must be bought.
Yeah, this is basically continuing the trend of Mummy Demastered, and I'm okay with that. But it's Terminator 2D, No Fate. It's launching September 5th for PS4, PS5, all the Xboxes, PC, and Switch. Physical as well for all of these, which is great.
Yeah, the company that's publishing it as well has one that's exclusive to their website, and it's in euros, so I don't care. I'll still import it. If you like cloth posters, they're giving you tons of those. I would have loved an exoskeleton I could put the game inside, but that's asking too much.
Honestly, I want an oversized of the broken chip from Terminator 2.
Watching the trailer, and I was just like, yeah, I'm sold. Give me.
Yeah, it's an amazing looking side-scrolling run and gun type game based on Terminator 2.
And
goes through the entire
all the right
story.
Music in all the right places. So I was like, yeah, we're good.
And I think sounds like sound clips and sound effects from the cast. I think they're pulled from the movie, but they still have to get the license for it. But if it's not them, they sure got people that sounded like them.
Yeah, Chase, you got to let us know what James Cameron thinks now that he's a New Zealand citizen.
What?
Yeah, I have to look at it.
Yeah, go ask him.
He finished moving. He lives in New Zealand now. He's a New Zealand citizen.
Is he a citizen or is he just a resident?
No, he said he's a citizen. He's like, I ain't going back, so he's a citizen now.
Good for him.
New Zealand, you've been Cameroned.
He's gonna make all the avatars at Hobbiton.
Yeah, all the avatars now have to live in smaller houses just for production value.
He's gonna make all the grass blue and call it Smurf Village.
He made the news here a while back too about some stuff, but I'll talk about that later.
Okay.
So apples.
It won't be our big question this week, but we'll have to think about this one maybe for the next show. Like after Mummy Demastered and now we have this Terminator 2D, like what 80s or 90s movie you think would be really good to come back in this kind of format? And we'll bring that up for later. But we'll go ahead and move on to this week's the big question. All right, so the question for this week is, what game did you finish last? What are you planning to finish now? And what do you want to play next? I'll go ahead and start us off. The last game I finished, I went and looked because on our Discord, some of us have been going through and putting what we've been playing every day because I'm trying to make a document of what is being played by who and how many days, just to kind of chart the year for fun. My last one I finished was Untitled Goose Game, which, yeah, a lot of my other games, like, I don't know if Balatro is ever going to be on this. It's just never going to end. I'm planning to finish. I'm working on Avowed at the moment. And of course, I'm going to try and finish the story mode for Monster Hunter, but that'll probably just become a multiplayer thing. But for what I want to play next, God, I have to think about that one. I know I'm ordering the Tetris collection that's coming out, but I don't know if that's going to be the next one I pick up, because Monster Hunter would have been on this, but I picked it up yesterday. So I don't know if that counts being that close and I just started it. But whatever, you know what? This could be my answer. I don't care. Steven, what about you?
The game I finished last was Mortal Kombat 1, and I enjoyed it for the story mode especially.
Nice.
What I'm planning to finish now is I'm planning to finish Resident Evil 4 because I'm in it to win it. And whenever I'm not playing it, I'm like, I could be playing it.
It's such a good game.
And what I want to play next is what I also want to finish is because I'm so behind, I need to finish Yakuza 5 so I can go to 6 finally and 7. And I need to get up to Like a Pirate. So I need to get back to Yakuza and ignore every side mission so I can get through the stories.
Good luck. 'Cause the side missions are so tempting. You'll see and you're like, that's I don't know what's going on. I want to see
like,
this.
Can you get my dog? He's getting like roughed up by the Yakuza. And I'm like, oh, come on.
I have to go see what this is about now.
You got to save the dog.
Right?
No, the best one is when you have to like race RC cars just to like get this like one special item that you need to like. That
was Zero,
yeah.
When you had to play Mahjong, I wanted to kill myself.
I have a limited experience with the Yakuza series, but my friend Michael was showing it to me, and what sold me was, and he's like, "All right, we're gonna play this mission. You have to cold cock just punch a tiger in the face and knock it out." And I was like, "What? You got to time it right. Punch this thing and knock it out." And I was like, well, this game is interesting.
Or there's the one where you have to be a really good like text phone operator. So yeah.
It's a game of we're all proving the fact that you're never going to be able to finish that game without messing with a bunch of side missions. And now that I found out,
as weird as it sounds, that Like a Pirate, because they don't know what else to do with the license, is you can unlock the theme from Angry Birds, and there's music from Metaphor in Like a Pirate. So I was like,
what?
Okay.
Oh wow!
They do what they want, whenever they want, however they want.
Sega's cooking.
Sega's cooking.
The only way you can play a modern version or even a home version of Daytona USA 2. So it's like, there you go.
Yeah, and imagine this all basically started as a variation on Shenmue. Ugh.
Yeah, screw that game. I hate that game.
I love Shenmue. God, why do we hate different things? Like when I love you hate and vice versa.
Kiryu just said fuck Shenmue. This is my turn.
Shenmue crawled so Yakuza could walk, run, and leap.
I'd laugh my ass off if they eventually make a Yakuza that you could crank up a Dreamcast and play Shenmue in the game.
Shenmue is No Man's Sky space exploration.
It got better. No Man's Sky did, not Shenmue. We had 1 and 2, which were great. 3 was whatever.
I think Steven likes to argue and disagree like this with you, Jeremy, for the same reason you like to argue with me over Final Fantasy 15. I'm just saying. No,
it was 7. I'll argue with you on that. 15 was just for fun. 7 I wasn't impressed with, but all right.
Well, the next extra quarters, point counterpoint.
Honestly, with this group, it would be hilarious because we would rip into each other in the funniest ways and still walk out friends.
Yeah.
Have a whole episode. How do you pronounce this Pokemon?
Just have words.
This Pokemon.
We'll just have words pop
Who's
up.
That
Everybody
Pokemon?
has to say
Pikachu.
Pikachu.
What kind of peanut butter cup is this? Reese's. Very good.
Reese's. Oh God! All right, well, Rachel, what about you? What's your answer?
Well, I mean, I'm going back and I'm playing older games on my PC. So, I just finished Nancy Drew Curse of Blackmore Manor and started Nancy Drew Secret of the Old Clock. So, I imagine that's going to be probably the ones that I'm going to finish next. But I'm also like in the middle of a couple of Switch games. I don't game every day, mainly because I would get home so late from work. and then I
Same.
don't have any time to do things during the week. So I then spend all my time on the weekends doing fun things, so I don't game as much on the weekends except for Friday night stream nights. So I don't know what I want to play next. I guess the Kitty Island game that I'm getting in the mail at some point
March
this month.
25th.
Yeah.
Hello Kitty.
So that, and then God, some other game that's coming out on PlayStation that I pre-ordered. Oh, Expedition whatever.
Oh yeah, Expedition 33.
Obscura Expedition 38, whatever.
What
34,
mouthful.
43.
I can already feel Chris yelling in the next room because
Well, he knows he doesn't have to pre-order because it's on Game Pass.
yeah. So, but no, that's probably one of the other games I'm gonna play next. Is and I guess I'm getting God. What's the name of it? It's the re-release game. It starts with an S. It's on Switch. Damn it! It has 1,000 characters in it that you recruit.
Suikoden.
There you go.
They have a special presentation next week.
Yeah, so I got that one. I think that's my last pre-ordered game at GameStop that I have to pick up, and then I'm just like buy. So at this point, and this is sad, I'd rather go to Best Buy, and I don't even like Best Buy that much.
Yeah. Which I remember the one I was going to play next. I did pre-order Xenoblade Chronicles X. That's coming out next month.
And I also pre-ordered that. But I did all my games now are pre-ordered at Best Buy. I did it online, and then I just pick up in store.
That's the end of this month. Jesus, there's a lot of stuff to play.
Yes, there is.
Chase, what about you? What's your answer?
Man, so I had to actually think about long and hard what was the last game I actually finished, because I've been playing a lot of very open-ended and very long games. Yes, it was Demio.
I'm about to say Demio, and right before that was what, Warhammer?
Well, we haven't even finished. We technically haven't finished Warhammer in the sense that there's another PvE mission that we have to do at some point.
Yeah, but they added it. I'm not going to say we unfinished it.
That's not story, boo.
That's bonus.
No, yeah, I think it was Demio actually, because then Stalker 2 has just been a grind. So as far as planning to finish, it would be Stalker 2. I'll get back into it at some point. Dynasty Warriors Origins will be the first one I finish. Probably in Stalker 2, and then I'm gonna go into Ninja Gaiden 2 Black.
Good luck finishing that.
I really enjoy it. I
don't mean it bad. I just remember that is a brutal game.
Oh, they always have been. I'm curious how they handle 4. I want to know more about 4, because 3 wasn't as brutal. That was actually a little bit more accessible difficulty wise, but 1 and 2 were just
It's gonna be like Donkey
hard.
Kong. You die too many times, you come back as this white ninja with a pink band, and you're like, I'm invincible and I can fall down pits.
Yeah, I wonder, because because what was it? Ninja Gaiden 1. I don't know if 2 had its one, but Ninja Gaiden 1, if you died enough times, they would give you like a very easy mode, and it was called Ninja Dog.
Yeah, I got that immediately because I was like, I'm not playing your game, I'm playing my game.
Yeah, so I was like, oh.
And they mocked you for it too, if I remember correctly.
They did.
I beat Razor's Edge though because they tweaked it for Wii U. So
yeah, I liked Razor's Edge. I actually want to see 3 come back again, but because I actually enjoyed it. I know a lot of people didn't, but it was actually pretty all right.
I'm happy I have the Master Collection on Switch, so I can play 1, 2, and 3 whenever I want to.
I still need to get that. I keep forgetting it was made.
Yeah, but what I want to play next, Monster Hunter's on the list. I'll get it eventually. I'm kind of more or less just not getting it because until we have until I have like a co-op group to play with, I'm just kind of sitting on it.
He's got Team Pfeiffer. He's busy.
I'm about to say John bought it. Jeremy's probably going to get it. I already have it. We have Steven and Michael that are also have it, that are playing with us, that I've been hunting with for years. So we can get you some people.
Yeah, if the time zones match up, we can make it work.
Yeah, their sleep schedule's weird. We'll have to figure that one out. My kids are up all night, so they'll be fine.
So I'm just trying to think if there's any other games coming out in the near
If she's
future.
playing old games, I dare Rachel to play the Colonel's Bequest next.
The what?
A Laura Bow or Bow game, the ones you had to take notes, the murder mystery games from Sierra.
Sounds complicated in a
What
fun way.
was it? There was the Dagger of Amon Ra, I think was the second one, and the first one was the Colonel's Bequest, and you had to take notes if you wanted to solve any
Are they still
mystery.
available?
Oh yeah, I think
okay.
they're on GOG.
Maybe. I don't know.
Oh,
I have
okay.
to look it up.
Yeah, GOG is going to be a great source for you
I
finding
know
older
Dagger of
PC
Amon
games,
Ra is
Rachel.
definitely on GOG, so Colonel's Bequest is too, because there's another point-and-click game that's copying the pixel art style of the original Sierra games. I got to look it up again.
Nice. All right, well, that was a fun little big question for this week. Let me go ahead and close that out so I know where to actually edit the damn show. All right, so let's wrap everything up. So you can find the podcast in audio form wherever you listen to your shows, and the video version over at YouTube at our channel, Zenspath COM. Both can easily be found over on zenspath.com/podcast as well, especially since I fixed that last week and now it's working. Leave us a review if you can to help us grow. Like and share the show with others. Leave us a comment on YouTube to tell us how you feel about the show and maybe answer the big question yourself of what did you finish last? What are you planning to finish now? And what do you want to play next? We'd love to know. Also, if you want to talk to us directly, you can find us over on our Discord as the easiest way to chat with us, which is over at bit.ly/Zenspath Discord, as well as there's a link to it over on zenspath.com. All right, I've been your host, Jeremy Powers, joined by Stephen, Rachel, and Chase for episode 163, and we're out. Peace.
Totodile.
Got to do the hand thing.